Aspire Software, a Service Titan company, offers business management solutions for companies in the janitorial industry. Aspire makes a real difference in customers' lives with cloud-based software that offers the end-to-end functionality contractors need to gain full visibility into their business. Visit youraspire.com.
Today, I'm with Steve Ashkin, the founder of the Ashkin Group and the father of green cleaning. Steve and I have done many videos, and we've talked about a lot of topics related to cleaning, green cleaning, and sustainability. Today, we're going to spotlight a very important event that anyone who cares about the environment will be interested in. It's called Earth Day. Steve, have you heard of this?
No, just kidding. Of
Yes.
course.
Why don't you prime us and tell us about it?
Well, you know, I suspect most people are somewhat familiar with the history of Earth Day, and, you know, but let me frame it this way. For those of us who are truly environmentalists, who really care about the environment, even in my church, we have something called Creation Care. You know, this is a day, Earth Day is a day of celebration. It's a day to recognize how much work we have to do, and importantly, how much we've accomplished in the past 50 years. You know, sometimes I think people forget that, you know, pre-1973, there was no US EPA. We had all kinds of problems with water pollution. We had rivers catching on fire because manufacturers were dumping their solvents and waste directly into open waterways that would catch on fire. And besides, we drink that water, right? There was all kinds of air pollution. You know, we didn't really regulate the emissions from smokestacks or from the exhaust from cars and trucks. And, you know, really, Earth Day, especially now, should be a celebration of all the things that we've accomplished and give us hope for the future. So to me, I'm looking at hanging out with my friends, celebrating what we've done, and importantly, thinking about and recommitting ourselves to the work that's still ahead of us.
So, Steve, it's Saturday, April 22nd. You mentioned it's a celebration, so it's a special day to you, but it's just one day a year. So how do you keep the momentum going? Can you speak to first at work and with customers?
First of all, Jeff, I think that's really an important issue. You know, if we just do it once a year, pretty tough to keep things going and to keep people really motivated. And it's hard to accomplish anything. You know, any project that we have, if we only work on it once a year, we're not going to get much done. So I think that, you know, at work, there are plenty of things that we can do. I encourage companies to create their own green teams, to really focus on these things. I encourage them to actually benchmark where they are, figure out what's important to their companies from an environmental perspective, because obviously a manufacturer is going to be different than a distributor or a service provider. So to really start getting our arms around what it is they're doing and to actually make plans on reducing impacts. And what's really important to point out is, you know, working on these issues, sustainability and addressing things that affect our planet, what have you, when we operate more efficiently, we save money. You know, beyond just the benefits to the environment, you know, if we use less fuels in our delivery vehicles or in our cars, if we more efficiently use energy to light, heat, and cool our buildings, if we think about how we're going to operate in various different ways, any of those reductions, those efficiencies have good environmental impacts. And at the end of the day, if we're going to talk about this stuff all year long, we have to have things to talk about. Otherwise, it's just greenwash and noise. Mm-hmm. So I really encourage companies to figure out what it is they're doing and think of it from a business perspective, because again, operating more efficiently, whether we're saving fuel or energy or water or reducing waste, all of those things not only have huge environmental impacts, but they also are saving money, and that money drops right to the bottom line. So think about it, develop a strategy, report on it, get people involved, but it is key to a successful business.
I think we all agree, at least I think this, that big business, manufacturing, they really impact the world, what we're talking about today. So those who are watching this, who might be just at home or, raising families in their neighborhood, how important is this to them, to those homeowners, those families?
Again, a great question, Jeff. And you're right, it's not just about how our employers work. It really is the options and opportunities and choices we make on a daily basis. Whether it's, when we have to replace a vehicle, what kind of vehicle do we replace it with? And I have to confess, I'm a huge fan of buying used stuff. So when I went out and I bought my new used vehicle, I bought a plug-in hybrid. And, because I wasn't quite prepared to go fully electric because of the driving I do and access to, charging stations and stuff like that. But my plug-in hybrid gets over 100 miles a gallon of gasoline. So, I mean, this is good business too. So for us to think about the options and choices we make, whether it's our vehicles, how we heat and cool our homes, even if we're just renting, putting in a smart thermostat so we're not heating our homes in the wintertime when we're not there, or we're not air conditioning our homes in the summertime when we're not home. So there's strategies that we can put in place that are just smart. And one of the things that I think often doesn't get addressed is food. And in America, I'm sorry to say, we overeat. And we spend a lot of time talking about composting. And for those who do composting, I applaud you. But for me, I'd like to encourage us to think about not wasting so much stuff that needs to be composted. We need to think more about our portions and how we prepare meals, because there is dramatic impacts from the agricultural sector. And again, if we're just wasting stuff, that's not helping anyone, and it's wasting money at the same time.
Mm-hmm. I just have to wonder how many people think of Earth Day as like we plant a tree and we've done our part.
A lot. And planting trees is good.
Yes.
But it was just like your first question, we got to figure out how to do this stuff all the time. And planting trees and buying offsets for, our energy consumption, whatever, I guess that's okay. But the real issue is we got to change what we're doing. And I hope companies and individuals will think about how do we just operate both in our business and in our lives more efficiently, because it has both environmental and cost benefits when we do that.
Yeah, I agree. Let's wrap up with talking about the ISSA Sustainability Committee, because you're on that and you're involved, and we've done videos and produced content on this together. And of course, that committee has the right view on Earth Day. Share with some updates on that. What would you like to say about that committee?
Well, first of all, I really want to applaud ISSA for developing programs for their members. And again, not everyone in the association's concerned about these issues, but for those who are, ISSA is making a big effort to develop tools and products that will help them, especially small and medium-sized companies, the companies that can afford, an experienced high-price sustainability person. So we now have 170 people on the committee, and I hope some of you who are listening today will join. We have people from 12 different countries. We've now developed a leadership council for our work group leaders. We've established a number of work groups, one on education and training, so we can provide the information specific for members of our industry to be able to talk within their own companies and with their customers and prospects. We have a reporting work group that's really looking at what our customers and what regulators like the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission is going to require publicly traded companies to report on, which ultimately will filter down in their RFPs to our industry. So we're developing reporting tools. We have a work group specific to international members, because every country has their own issues, and in many countries it's regulated. So how can we help the members in those countries meet the regulatory requirements, right? It's not just, our big ideas about saving the world. These are now requirements that we have to meet, oftentimes to do business with these companies, and often because it's regulated and required of us for reporting as well. So I'm really excited about what ISSA is doing. And again, I hope some of you listening in today will join the committee and frankly help us address all the environmental impacts from the thousands of companies in our industry, the vehicles, the warehouses, and of course, the 100 million people we support around the globe.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Steve. I applaud your efforts and keep up the good work. Hopefully this committee will grow. We'll see what happens, but thank you for your time today.
It is my pleasure, Jeff. And as always, thank you, and happy Earth Day.